Junk City is a floating town with just 72 people. Sentries stand guard, watching for any signs of danger. One of them suddenly spots something in the waves and asks his partner for binoculars. When he sees a massive swarm of fins heading their way, he quickly tells the others to evacuate and sounds the alarm himself. The loud bell makes him an easy target. Even though he's on a high tower, it doesn't protect him. One shark makes an incredible leap, grabs the man in its wide jaws and pulls him under the water. Panic erupts in the city. People run in all directions as the sharks attack, tearing through the residents without mercy. Chaos and destruction spread everywhere. In the middle of the carnage, a young woman named Bee is helped into a wooden barrel by a man who is instantly eaten by a shark. From inside her hiding spot, beaks out, watching helplessly as the rest of her people are devoured. We then shift to a larger town called Redeemer with a population of 436. A sentry there reports seeing a light signal from Junk City. The operator tries to contact them, but another sentry confirms the town has completely vanished. They decide to send an experienced sea veteran, Dylan Barerick, to investigate. Meanwhile, at the Westeron Ocean Research Station, scientist Dr. Shaw contacts Barerick and urges him to hurry. The team is eager to attach scrubbers to their rocket. Barerick hits the throttle and speeds off toward Junk City. Back at the station, Dr. Nichols tells Dr. Shaw that the rocket is almost ready and weather conditions are ideal, but they're still missing some parts. Even if everything goes smoothly, they only have enough scrubbers for one launch. Nichols explains that temperatures are rising daily. If they can launch the scrubbers into the atmosphere in time, they might reverse the warming, but they only have one chance. Dr. Shaw gives the team 48 hours to finish the mission. A helicopter is sent from the Savior to assist Junk City. The pilot spots a lone survivor Bee on the ruined dock. As soon as she climbs out of the barrel, sharks chase her. Luckily, a boat arrives just in time to save her. The sharks chase the boat too, but it escapes. On board, Barrett gives Bee some fresh water, but warns her not to drink too much. It's very valuable now. Later, a pilot named Nathan returns as Savior and reports seeing huge swarms of sharks led by one gigantic one. Barerick brings Bee to the Weston station, but she's scared to leave the boat. He assures her that it's the safest place on Earth now. Dr. Nichols and Dr. Shaw arrive and tell Bee she doesn't have to leave the boat. They're all heading to the Savior together, which promise to provide iridium for their rocket's electrical systems. They also want to ask Bee some questions about what she witnessed. Left alone with Bee, Doctor. Shaw shows her the large rocket and explains that it will carry a device called a CO2 scrubber. CO2 emissions have melted the ice caps, flooding the planet. Their scrubber device is designed to reverse that by being launched into the atmosphere. If the plan works, they could stop the warming. Shaw says the brightest minds are working on it, but they need all the help they can get. Meanwhile, Dr. Nichols shows Barerick a sensor meant to be attached to a shark, but Barerick refuses after what he saw in Junk City. He wants nothing to do with sharks. At a meeting, Dr. Nichols explains the situation. As the oceans heat up, marine life dies off. Sharks, being at the top of the food chain, are left with nothing to eat, so they come to the surface. And now humans are their main prey. The dying ocean is dragging humanity down with it. Barerick then shows radar images from Junk City. Nichols is shocked. She's never seen that many sharks in one spot. When asked about the massive one in the center, Barerick says it could be a mutated alpha female, the mother of all sharks, and this pack is headed straight for the Savior. After arriving at the Savior, the heroes try to warn the leaders about the incoming danger. But the locals don't believe sharks can be so organized or deadly. Plus, they have nowhere else to go. Not even Western has space for them. Shaw insists the Savior must reinforce its defenses. Realizing time is short, the townspeople prepare for battle. They perform a traditional battle dance to lure the sharks. The predators arrive and warriors spear them from the dock. Hoping for a big catch, they lower a huge hook into the water. The alpha shark grabs it and pulls so hard it collapses the tower. As more sharks attack the city, everyone scrambles to escape. Barerick's boat is far from the pier, so he bravely swims for it. A shark chases him, but Dr. Nichols distracts it by hitting the dock with an oar. The defenders fight courageously, but the city's defenses collapse in explosions. When Barerick reaches his boat, someone is trying to steal it. A brutal fight breaks out, and just as the thief is hanging over the edge, a shark leaps up and bites his head off. The others also swim to the boat, including the Savior's cameraman carrying the iridium. They climb aboard and fight off more sharks. Once the proud city, the Savior is now left in ruins. As they flee, Dr. Nichols suggests the alpha female might control the other sharks through electromagnetic signals and bioimpulses. Dr. Shaw agrees and warns that this ability could be used against them. Bereric then sees it. An enormous army of sharks led by the alpha female is coming right for them. He asks Nichols to hold the helm and goes down to the hole to give them some speed. Dr. Shaw contacts the station and orders him to hurry up with the preparations for the operation, for the iridium is on its way. She then explains her insane plan of action to those present. According to Shaw, there is a dormant underwater volcano nearby, and they have a device, the splitting of which will help wake up that volcano. They've also developed a sensor that simulates an overturned boat with people on it. This will help attract sharks directly to the volcano, but Shaw calls that they have a pilot, Nathan, to help them. After receiving the necessary instructions and devices from Shaw, Nathan sets off on a critical mission. While trying to fly close to the pack, he lowers the plane too low, and one of the sharks jumps out and sinks its teeth into it. The aircraft unexpectedly crashes, and the shark devours Nathan himself. The important sensor is left floating on the surface. The heroes are upset and begin to consider Plan B. Eric says he can theoretically speed up his boat to 30 knots. That way they might be able to launch the sensor and escape the explosion in time. The plucky Nichols decides not to risk the crew and uses maneuverable kite surfing to install the sensor. Gliding through the waves, she easily evades the sharks and grabs the device on the surface. Dr. Shaw contacts the station and orders them to be on standby. The scientists start the necessary processes and set the unit in motion. In doing so, they agree that they need to leave the station and launch the rocket remotely. After all, they don't know how the huge launcher will behave in terms of the scale of radiation. Meanwhile, Nichols drops a device in the right place, which in turn unfolds and plunges the necessary sensor to depth. Shaw contacts Westeron again and reports that the device is in position. Her team members report that everything is ready for launch. Shaw orders the launch and counts down. The rig is activated and a huge electric beam is launched into the sky. Everyone cautiously cheers and watches. The beam bounces off the atmosphere and returns toward a pre-installed sensor on the bottom. A staff member informs them that they are now no longer allowed to remain connected to the power. While trying to pull the plug, she is thrown back and passes out. A beam from the sky does its job and wakes up a dormant volcano, the eruption of which begins to destroy all the sharks in the vicinity. Dr. Nichols and his kite surf heroically escapes to the safe zone from the explosion. And while everyone on the kiteboard is waiting for her arrival, a colossal wave rises from the volcano's eruption. Bereric tries to speed up and evade the impending tsunami. Somehow they still manage to ride the enormous wave and avoid crashing. Meanwhile, Nichols is still gliding through the waves on her board, but the same Alpha chases her. A spectacular chase ensues, and Nichols performs a series of spectacular jumps in an attempt to dodge the beast. During one of these stunts, the shark knocks the board out from under the girl's feet and she falls into the water. A speedboat appears just in time to save Nichols from the pursuit. At the last moment, the shark still tries to grab the girl, but Shaw thrusts a spear into the predator, thus setting a beacon on her. Meanwhile, all is quiet on Vestron, and the unconscious scientist is already okay. At this point, Bereric's runabout finally returns to the station and brings back the iridium needed to launch the rocket. The scientists report that they don't have enough power to launch, and it will take 2 or 3 days to fix the equipment. But they don't have time because the pumps that pump out the water and keep the vessel have been damaged. The station is sinking little by little, and it is advisable to launch the rocket before it sinks. While the team is thinking about where to get the energy to launch, Dr. Shaw reports that a sensor installed on the shark shows curious readings. The Alpha uses its powerful electromagnetic organ to control the other sharks, and if its code is deciphered, it can get a huge energy source. At this time, a pack of sharks led by the Alpha are approaching Veteran. The team urgently prepares to carry out their plan and scatters into position. Bereric clarifies how they are going to control the Alpha. After all, Nichols explains that it is not necessary to control it. The main thing is to simulate the signal and send it to the others. The team members finish preparing iridium scrubbers and other things necessary to launch the rocket. But the sharks begin to attack the station, and mass defending be from one of them. The charming operator savior heroically dies. At this time, Nichols manages to intercept the alpha signal, and Shaw traps her, thus getting the power to set up the rocket launch. Suddenly, an automatic countdown begins, and the rocket still manages to take off. But on launch, the shark falls into the water with Shaw, and the predator devours the scientist in cold blood. An enraged Nichols uses the signal to get the other sharks to attack the alpha. At first, this is what happens. But after coping with his fellows, the alpha decides to take revenge on the humans and attacks the boat. During the attack, the shark gets stuck in the cabin. The barely surviving Barrick steers the boat toward Western and jumps into the water with Nichols. The boat crashes into the station at high speed and explodes with the alpha. Barrick and Nichols swim safely to the pier, where B and their remaining crew members greet them. They offer to leave the station quickly before it sinks. 6 months later, our heroes are on a boat and notice that the top of the Statue of Liberty and the peaks of New York skyscrapers are visible from the water. They look at each other cheerfully because the water is gradually receding.